Hello, how's it going? What's on your mind today?
So I've heard that from 2025 in the UK, they will also tax the electric cars. Is that true?
Yes, starting in 2025, the UK government plans to introduce road tax, or Vehicle Excise Duty, VED, for electric vehicles. This change is part of a broader shift in the taxation system to account for the growing number of electric vehicles on the road. So if you own an electric car, you'll likely need to pay road tax from that point onwards.
But didn't they say a few years ago that there will be no tax for the electric vehicle owners?
Yes, initially, electric vehicles were exempt from vehicle excise duty as an incentive to encourage their adoption. However, with the increasing number of electric vehicles on the road, the government has decided to start phasing in road tax for electric vehicles from 2025. This move aims to ensure all vehicle owners contribute to road maintenance and infrastructure regardless of the vehicle's fuel type.
How much is going to cost?
For electric vehicles, the exact amount of vehicle excise duty will depend on the vehicle's list price and emissions. Generally, electric vehicles will be subject to the standard rate of VED, which is currently £165 per year as of 2024. However, if the electric vehicle has a list price of more than £40,000, it will also be subject to an additional expensive car supplement of £355 per year for 5 years.
And so let's say that if I'm buying a Porsche, which costs around 120,000, probably even more, how much is the tax going to be then?
If you're buying a Porsche that costs around £120,000, it would fall into the category of vehicles with a list price over £40,000. Here's how the vehicle excise duty would likely be calculated. First year. The first year rate for electric vehicles is currently £0. Standard rate from the second year, £165 per year. Expensive car supplement, £355 per year for 5 years. So, for the first 5 years, you would pay the standard rate plus the expensive car supplement, totaling £520 per year. After 5 years, you would just pay the standard rate, which is currently £165 per year.
And if I'm buying a new diesel with very, very low emissions, how much would I pay that then per year?
For a new diesel car with very low emissions, the vehicle excise duty in the UK is based on the car's CO2 emissions. As of 2024, for the first year, the rates for diesel cars are higher than for petrol cars, especially if they don't meet the Real Driving Emissions 2 RDE2 standard. However, for very low emission diesel cars that do meet RDE2 standards, the first year rate could be lower. After the first year, the standard rate is typically £180 per year for diesels. So, for the first year, you could pay anywhere from around £0 to a few £100 depending on the exact emissions. From the second year onwards, it would be around £180 per year plus any additional charges if the car's list price is over £40,000.
Okay, so what's more worth it, to buy electric or to buy a petrol or a diesel?
Deciding between an electric, petrol, or diesel car depends on several factors, including your budget, driving habits, environmental concerns, and long-term costs. Electric vehicles, they typically have higher upfront costs but lower running costs. Charging is cheaper than refueling with petrol or diesel, and maintenance costs are generally lower because electric cars have fewer moving parts. They are also more environmentally friendly and could be subject to fewer charges in low emission zones. Petrol cars, generally cheaper to buy than electric vehicles with a wide range of models available. Fuel costs and maintenance can be higher than electric cars, but petrol cars are often more versatile for long distances and areas with limited charging infrastructure. Diesel cars, often more fuel efficient than petrol cars, particularly for long-distance driving. They can have higher upfront costs and may be subject to additional charges in low-emission zones due to their higher NOx emissions. In summary, if you're looking for lower long-term costs and are environmentally conscious, an electric car could be the better choice. But if you prioritize a lower upfront cost or need a vehicle for long-distance driving without frequent charging stops,
Yes, continue.
a petrol or diesel car might be more suitable. It really comes down to your personal preferences, how much you're willing to spend initially, and what kind of driving you'll be doing most often.
Okay, and just looking at the road tax prices, what would be cheaper to buy if I'm buying a new car? Electric, diesel, or petrol?
Considering just the road tax, here's how it breaks down for new cars. Electric cars. First year road tax is £0, and from the second year, it's £165 per year. If the car's list price is over £40,000, add an additional £355 per year for 5 years. Diesel cars. The first year rate depends on CO2 emissions and could range from £0 for very low emissions to several £100 for higher emissions. The standard rate from the second year is around £180 per year, plus the expensive car supplement if applicable. Petrol cars. Similar to diesel, the first-year rate varies based on CO2 emissions. For low-emission petrol cars, it could be relatively low. From the second year, the standard rate is around £180 per year, plus the expensive car supplement if the car's list price is over £40,000. In terms of road tax alone, electric cars are often cheaper in the long run, especially if their list price is under £40,000. However, if you're considering a more expensive electric vehicle, the additional supplement could make the total road tax closer to...
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further information, feel free to ask.
No, that's it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Take care.